Sporty, articulate, independent and always up for new adventures, 5-year-old Samuel Bordwell seemed to have it all.
Brilliant. Good boy. Lovely, Sam.
Or even walk over to Daddy.
Suddenly, this little boy's life took a different turn.
We thought initially he was kind of coughing and making himself kind of vomit. And when we talked to the GP about that, he thought maybe he had a sensitive gag reflex. So again, we didn't attribute it to anything more sinister.
It wasn't until Samuel's father spoke with a physiotherapist friend of his that they realised how serious the situation was. The friend suspected it could be a brain tumour and advised him to take Samuel to the hospital immediately.
That was a pretty shocking day, really. Changed our lives a bit.
Samuel's... I couldn't eat anything.
Yeah.
No,
you were very upset.
You're right. Was that the night before the scan you couldn't eat anything?
I think so.
Yeah, you had to
Starve.
You had to starve yourself, didn't you? You had to fast.
Many GPs will only ever see 3 or 4 cases of brain tumours during their career. And this is why it's important that if there are warning signs, particularly that the symptoms persist over a period of time and they don't respond to normal treatment, this is why the doctor should refer somebody on to an expert who can then assess them, do, for example, a scan to identify what the problem is and then determine if it is a brain tumour or something else, and then what is the best way going forward of treatment.
It was only when master's student Andrew Scarborough passed out on the tube that his brain tumour was diagnosed.
I was told over the phone, so it was... I just was paralysed by shock initially, and when I was told that it was treatable but not curable, I just felt like I was going to die and there was nothing that I could do. I'm a very sporty, young, active guy, just very healthy, I thought, at the time. I just felt hopeless and helpless, so I didn't really know what to think for a long time until I just started to research more, and because of my academic background and my the analytical skills I learned at university, I started to look more and more at things that I could do to potentially help myself.
Yeah, having kind of spent 10 hours, worrying about him coming through surgery, and then I guess 24 hours later thinking he started to talk and it was all looking good and positive, to then be faced with having this kind of shell of your child, a boy who was very, very active, very sporty, very, very independent, very articulate, to have all of that kind of wiped away was a huge shock to us, and probably the most difficult thing to come to terms with. I was putting him to bed and I just said to him, I had my phone and I just said, "Oh, can you say night to Daddy? Can you say night, Dada?" And I was videoing him. And he said, I'd kind of put the two words together and hadn't really thought at that point that he'd only been saying odd words. He couldn't actually connect them.
Night, night, Dada. Say night, Dad. Can you do a night?
No.
Good boy, Dad.
Dad.
Yeah, that is awesome. Blow him a big kiss.
So there was a huge gap, but you could tell that's what he was saying, and so that was like a hugely momentous moment.
Amazing. That was very...
I think it's quite common for these childhood tumours not to be diagnosed until sometimes very late. And with Samuel, we were fortuitous that our friend was really on the ball.
I'm a human guinea pig, reluctantly. I don't really want to be, But because there's nothing else out there, the more I learn, the more I think that there's so many potential things that aren't being explored. And other things that I do are, I'm very into regulating my natural light cycles. One of the ways that I try to get around all the artificial light that we have in day-to-day life in this country, and especially at university where there's just artificial light and also technology everywhere. So I try to limit technology as much as I can as well, which in this modern age is really difficult but manageable.
The report came after an online petition was launched to increase spending on brain tumour research. It has since gathered more than 120,000 signatures and will now be debated in Parliament.
And this is great news for us, because I think this is going to give rise to national awareness taking a leap, and also hopefully funding, and more people will be willing and able to donate to the cause. And I think this funding will enable perhaps more equipment to be bought, and for example more frequent scans and earlier scans to be done, and for the NHS to put more of its resources towards brain tumour awareness. What's happening, mate? And it's a miracle we've still got him, and he's doing well, and he will be back with his friends back in school probably sometime around the end of May.
Shot, Samuel. Great shot, mate.